What's up everybody, and welcome to the blame game for the Season 6 Summer Split Week 2. I'm Mark Z, former guy who did stuff turned boring content creator, and I'll be looking at the top Reddit comments in the post-game discussion threads of the NALCS to decide if the blame there is justified or not. Now this weekend had some amazing matches, specifically the one between IMT and TSM, so check that out if you haven't seen it yet, because I will not be talking about it. I'll be looking at a couple other series and we'll take a deep dive into those, so let's get into it. We'll kick things off this week with the matchup between Counterlogic Gaming and Cloud9, as C9 was able to get their first 2-0 series win of the season. CLG picked up a lot of hate, and a large individual chunk of that was directed at Huhi in his laning phase. Now, I've defended Huhi in the past, but the question is, with a disappointing start to the season, is the criticism now warranted? I want to take an in-depth look at Game 2 of this matchup, where Huhi was playing Lissandra into Victor. Now this is a Victor-favored matchup where Lissandra can push early until Victor gets an upgrade in his E, but she'll never win trades. Lissandra also has better gank setup, but Victor will usually just take cleanse and be fine, meaning that you'll need 2 ganks in a row to be able to get any kills against him. With that in mind, Huhi goes for a 3-minute push, recall, purchase, and TP back to lane, which I actually really like. He's trying to push his advantage when he's at the strongest possible, so he has double Doran's rings to push in and keep pressure up, and he also has a pink ward to place to be safe while doing so. However, Huhi isn't expecting Meteos to already be in the river, so this quick trinket ward that he places gets him no information as Meteos is basically already behind him. And when he plays the gank, he has an excellent flash Umburrow to stop Huhi from being able to take his E out, resulting in his death. It's usually a problem to die this early in the matchup, but it's extra bad when you go for the start that Huhi went for because he can't TP back to catch the wave, meaning Jensen is way ahead in gold and CS. From there, Huhi is struggling to hold on to the lane, but Jensen makes a mistake in not waiting for Meteos to get over there on a dive, and CLG is able to pick him up in a kill. Now that's one thing that Huhi actually does extremely well, is call over Smithy when he feels like a dive is coming and they try and counter it. They did this as well in Game 1, but they didn't get a payoff for it. Later on in the game, Smithy and Huhi are able to force Jensen's cleanse, meaning they want to pull a repeat gank to get a kill. And this is where I want to take a super close look at this play. CLG knows that C9 is handing blue buff off to Jensen, and they want to set up a play to kill him when he gets back to lane, so they set up positions on either side. Now just prior to this, C9's bot lane had recalled and pushed in bottom and then disappeared off the map. We can see that CLG communicates the bot lane is missing via pings, but I'm almost positive that they assumed they were going to do golems because Meteos is topside handing off blue, meaning that those should be open to be taken. CLG makes the wrong assumption, and C9's bot lane actually roam mids, which counters this play completely. Darshan's late TP and death is just the poop icing on this crap play that just gives C9 another kill. This game turns out to be fairly close with a number of interesting team fights, but ultimately CLG loses. So what was my point with all this? Huhi is a weaker laner, yes, and if you want to blame him for that, be my guest. In Game 1, he played the Victor Azir matchup, which has been a staple of competitive play for a while now, and he took a ton of free damage as Victor. As bad as that is, it's still better than Stixxay and Aphromoo getting absolutely rocked bottom lane and giving up 5 kills on their own. Huhi's laning has always been weak to average at best, and so I'm not sure how much emphasis to put on it for the current downturn of CLG's play. He and the rest of CLG are obviously playing much worse, so I'm not sure that this is the most impactful thing to look at, but it is true. The other series we'll talk about this week is Echo Fox's 0-2 loss to Team Liquid. One of the worst series played this weekend. Fans bashed Echo Fox for their passive play and horrendous macro decisions. Screw all the build up, I just want to get right into Game 2 and talk about it. Echo Fox's play with a top lane split push carry can best be described as archaic and misguided in the current atmosphere of League of Legends, where teams actually understand pressure and rotations. After getting first blood with the help of a gank in a long lane, KFO attempts to freeze whatever lane he's in for basically the rest of the early mid game. This results in zero pressure on the rest of the map, as Team Liquid actually has winning lanes in the other two, so they grab control of the bottom jungle and even parts of the top. Just look at how often he pushes past River, and he never even gets close to an enemy team's turret. Even when he's strong enough to solo kill the Aurelia, he is still freezing. The point of a freeze is to generate a CS and XP advantage by denying the other team's laner, but Echo Fox has such low pressure on the rest of the map that Team Liquid doesn't fall behind at all. No one really plays side lanes like this anymore, especially when they have no pressure elsewhere on the map, because they should get demolished there, but that doesn't happen because Team Liquid is constantly dying. These days, most teams push side waves in and build creep waves so that they can get dives off or TP plays on the far side of the map or something like that, and the days of just freezing forever are gone. Echo Fox fall behind the later portions of this game off some bad team fighting, but they still have a strong Jax with some bad split pushing items. I'll admit, I have no idea what Echo Fox's shot calling is here, and I know it's hard to play the 4-1 split push when your group of 4 is much weaker than the others, but this doesn't really make any sense. They group as 5 to vision control around Baron for some reason instead of splitting the Jax bottom to catch a wave and push that out. They don't even prioritize the mid-wave control correctly, and Team Liquid pushes that all the way to an inhib turret, which they then take. Later, they're absolutely terrified to walk up mid lane despite having pretty good vision control around Baron, and Piglet just clears waves alone in front of them. This prompts them to just farm jungle camp / hide in a bush waiting for a pick while a massive wave crashes into them top. Meanwhile, Jax tries to pressure in bottom, but this total lack of action mid allows them to keep getting collapsed on freely. You don't really want to fight mid, but you need to posture around things so people can't just run down to deal with Jax and run back for no consequence. This game was just... and Reddit's blame is totally correct. Going completely against common Reddit culture, I don't really have anything good to say for the high five comment of the week section, so I'm not going to say anything at all. I'm sure there were good comments, but I didn't see any I wanted to post, and I'd rather not just do it for the sake of a segment. So that means this episode's over. You can go away. Hopefully my face looks more normal this episode. I went 24 years without ever needing makeup, and now that there's a 4K camera in front of my face, people tell me I'm supposed to use it. I have no idea what I'm doing, but like, comment, and subscribe, and maybe I'll figure it out.